What's up, Matt? Says we're live. How are you, man?
Hey man, I'm good. I'm good. It's early, but I'm very good.
Yeah, so I didn't realize it when we planned the date that you're going to be back on vacation in Australia.
Yeah. Well, as everyone can probably tell from my accent, I wasn't born in the US. We live in Austin, but
It's a good
back
Texas.
home seeing some family.
It's a good Texas accent.
I'm working on it, y'all.
So what time is it? 3? Is that right?
It is just ticked over 3 a.m. So I'm here in the office. Amy from our marketing team is a legend. She's here as well. And already got the barbecue fired up, had some eggs and bacon this morning, got a coffee here. So hopefully we'll get through this.
It'll be good, man. Just don't fall asleep on me.
I'll try my best.
So everyone calling in or listening in, thanks for joining us. I think if you're in the States, it's lunchtime and not 3 a.m. But kind of as we get going, just kind of rules of the road here, like we normally do. We want this to be live, interactive. We're putting Matt on the hot seat here with BuildPass to show what he's got. He's made big claims of, how they think they can take down Procore. So we're gonna drill them and see what we got. So leave your comments, questions. Let us know now where you're calling in from, listening in from. There was a lot of people that RSVP from Australia. I don't know if they're gonna make it or live or not. If they're gonna catch the replay later. So
Impressive if they are.
let me know where you're at. So Mac, for people who don't know you, kind of give us a little bit of a background of yourself and how you got into this construction tech game.
Yeah, well, I always wanted to get into construction. I was studying civil engineering at university. I got distracted doing other things and tried to start some tech businesses while I was studying, and that didn't go very well. But I ended up dropping out of civil engineering. I had worked as a laborer and a shop fitter for a while, and I actually took up software engineering. So I spent a long time doing that, working for startups, working for prop tech companies, and finally got back into the construction industry. Had a lot of friends that just literally were at the pub and they would just complain about the software they were using, what they were doing out on site. And because by that stage, this is pre-AI, where you had to write all of your own code yourself. I looked at the software and said, "Hey, I think I could build something better than that." And that's how it started. That was 5 years ago. We started off just building a site tool for residential general contractors. And then over the last 5 years, it's grown into a full end-to-end platform. Yep, the bold claim, Matt. I definitely said we can replace Procore. I don't want to get any legal suits. We're not planning to take them down, but we can, we can do a lot of things for general contractors to be able to take their jobs end to end from first bid right through to handover. We've built that, and because we're a newer company, we've built it with AI at the core. So yeah, we've been going at this for about 5 years. Started in Australia, obviously. We have an office in Melbourne. We have an office in Austin now, and the US is the biggest growth area for us. I've been living in the US for the past 12 months, and yeah, heaps of opportunity, and we're growing really fast.
That's cool, man. We got a couple people here real quick. We got Mark's in Texas. We got a couple people in Texas here, and then Henry. I was actually messaging him. He's an Aussie living in Austin now too. I don't know if
Yeah,
you followed him or he followed you.
he was there before me.
That's cool, man. So I didn't say it a minute ago, but the U.S. Build Pass team, I think they're having a watch party in their conference room, and they're in the LinkedIn chat too. So as we have questions, they're going to be addressing questions, especially some of the more nuanced questions, and then any of the broad questions that we want to put Matt on the hot seat for. I'll be pulling them up on the screen, and we'll be going. So I'm gonna let you dive in, Matt. Show us what you got.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said in the lead up, Matt, hopefully it's a hot seat and not an inferno seat. So go easy, everyone. Well, it's 3 a.m. Remember, but we'll do our best to walk you through the platform and yeah, show you what we got.
I'm gonna pull your screen up here.
Cool. So I think the best way to um, walk you guys through this is I'm going to show you a project end to end, but I want to first talk through the products that we have and how we divide it up. So just on our website here, you'll see that we've got these 4 different products in here, or if you scroll down, it shows it on one screen. So essentially, we've tried to map what happens on the job into our stages and our products. And it's all one platform that's all connected together. But the best thing is you don't have to use the whole platform. If you just wanted to start with the pay product, you can do that. It's very modular. You pick the pieces you want to use. So the first one we've got is Win. That is doing your takeoffs, your estimating, bidding, generating your bid proposals, and ultimately winning the job. Then we've got Pay, and that is setting it up financially. So that's doing the budget, purchase orders, managing your subcontracts, cash flow forecasting, anything that relates to the financials of a job, we run through that product. Then there's product, and this is where we start as a company. So all of the complexities of the field we have simplified, and this is everything from getting your subs into the platform, getting them to engage, running schedules, drawings, BIM models, all of your daily logs, your safety, your quality. You can manage all of that from the Build product. The final product, it's actually like a combination of products. This is where we have all of our integrations into other tools. So even though we're an end-to-end platform, we can integrate with many other tools. We always want to do the best thing by the customer. If you've got other tools you want to use, we typically integrate to them. We have noticed that a lot of people are running their business through Claude and ChatGPT now. And so we have our MCP server, which I can show off today how that works. Essentially, we have built everything in a way that an AI agent can also use it. So anything that I'm doing today in the UI, you can actually get an agent to do, whether it's our own internal agent that we have built inside of the platform for if you don't have a subscription to Claude or ChatGPT, or you can plug it in there. So that's the Connect product. And we've also got a really cool app that is about to launch. Some people have it in early access called SuperSite, and that's about capturing data out in the field. I can show that off today as well. That comes in as part of the Connect product. So that's the 4 products. I don't know if you had any questions on that, Matt, or if you just wanted me to dive straight in.
Yeah, so you kind of we were kind of setting up this event and stuff. Y'all said you kind of got 4 times the workflow for 1/4 of the price, and so is these kind of the 4 buckets of kind of you're thinking four times the workflows that some of the other people don't do?
Yeah, and it's also, I think, within them, because they flow through between each other, it's been built in a really simple way. So we go really deep in some certain areas, and we use AI agents behind the scenes to do more. So hopefully what you'll see today is it looks really simple on the surface, and we're doing a lot of the heavy lifting behind the scenes to help our users. And yeah, we can certainly talk pricing, but you won't be paying the same that you'd pay Procore for this product, that's for sure.
Yeah, so each one of these, they all, like you said, they kind of flow between one to one because I'm not going to name any names, but I've seen a lot of softwares, and they've got, I'm not going to say similar features, they got a bunch of different kind of siloed features, and they're very much siloed where they don't really, you can't really push from one to the next and back and forth, and they don't communicate.
Yeah, totally. It all flows through. And there's this very fine line between making it all connected and making it modular. And that's a hard thing to get right. And when I say modular, I mean what I said before. And like, if you just wanted to use our scheduling tool, it should work really well. And so just one example, the scheduling tool, you can do a import from any format. You could take a screenshot of a P6 schedule and import that in. You could go take a photo of a whiteboard out in the job trailer and pull that in, and it makes it dynamic. So
Jeez.
we really try and make it fully connected between all of the tools that we have, but you can pick and choose as well.
That's cool, man. Let's dive in. You just want to start at the beginning of a project and kind of work through the flow?
Yeah, let's do it. So I'll walk through, to dive in any time. I do hope that some people will jump into the chat with questions. Like you said, Matt, this is the hot seat, so we can certainly get it a bit spicy. All right, so In general, here is the list of projects that we've got. I'll just go into a project and talk within the confines of that project, but know that at any stage we can go back out and we can do all of our reporting and other things at a company-wide level. So what we're seeing here in this project, I have got a summary of how it's set up financially. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is the win product and how you go from getting a set of documents and construction documents from a client to actually winning that job. So what would you do? The first thing would be you'd go in and load your documents. So if I went in here and just had a look at, this is actually our office in Austin. So here's some documents that we got. This was the initial ones. If we went back out, let's have a look at the final. So this is the actual construction documents. What we can do is we can go then and do a takeoff on that. So if I went into the takeoffs module, and we had a look at, yeah, cool. So you can see over here that we've got all of the standard tools that a takeoff has. You can go and draw polygons and areas. You can set up how you want your takeoffs to look and how you want to do your quantities. And you do a standard takeoff in here. Now, I think that one of the questions that's probably going to come up is, can we do an AI takeoff where you just load it in and the software will do all the quantities for you? Because there's lots of tools out there that are claiming that they can do that. We are working on that. We have got our own model called Level that we've been training. What we've noticed is the frontier models, like if you just go and put your documents into Claude and use Fable or something, it will attempt to do a takeoff for you. But how accurate will it be? About 50%. And so our opinion is we could ship that, we could put that in here tomorrow. But we think that if it's only 50% accurate, it actually does more damage than it's worth. You spend more time fixing up the mistakes than you do doing the takeoff. So where do we think we need to get that before we actually ship a fully AI takeoff? We believe that the number is 90%. If you can get it 90% accurate, then you've only got a few mistakes to fix up. Then it becomes worthwhile. And our model's getting better and better. It's at about 80% now. So all that being said, that is coming. But for now, you can use our takeoff tools to build them. From there, the takeoff flows directly into the estimate.
On that topic, it was a question I was going to bring up later, but all these AI agents you have within the system, what's the accuracy level of everything you've got?
Yeah, so we have what we call evals on our agents, and that's where we set up, here's what the success scenario looks like. And every time we put new agents and models into the platform, we run it against those evals. And so we will not let the agent come into our product until it passes 100% of those tests. Now, with AI, it's generative and it's non-deterministic and it's sort of like it's got opinions on things. So we can't be 100% sure that everything's going to be accurate. It still needs to be human in the loop. You need to check things. But we do make sure that against our test suite, it's always 100% before we let it into the platform.
I got one quick question here from the audience. With the API MCP plugin, could someone theoretically use an outside takeoff estimating tool and plug it in?
That's a great question, Mark, and absolutely. So what I've done here is I've gone from the takeoff tool into the estimate tool, and I could choose what's going to come through. I'm not going to do that now because I already have an estimate set up. But if you see up in here, we can import. So we can import from other files. We can import from what we call recipes, which is the blocks of our estimates. So you can say this is our standard estimating for a commercial job. This is our standard estimating for the access control section. We can do all of that, and we can also do an AI estimate from the plans itself. So that's the one that gets you about 80% accurate. It doesn't actually put it into the takeoff module. But to answer your question, Mark, yep, you can go and pull in from a different file and from any of those takeoff tools and generate your estimate. What we will do is we will actually automatically match the cost codes and the rates for you using AI. So once you've got your quantities in there, the system learns about what you usually map that to. This door controller, this gets mapped to 2810. You know, this carpet, we always put carpet under flooring here. This is what my cabling looks like. So you can set all of that up with your own templates, and the AI will automatically match it for you if you haven't done that. So what else can we do in the estimating tool? You can see in here that this one here is linked to the takeoff. So if my quantities change in the takeoff, it will update live in here. I don't have a good way of showing this now, but everything is live. It doesn't even require a refresh. So if I had another person, and actually this is a good point. If someone from our US team is online and is it has this open, going to Perrott and Eastlake Fit Out and going to the estimate, if they were on here, they will pop up as saying that they were viewing it, and I'd actually see the cell that they have clicked. So if someone wants to do that, I know we've got a bit of a delay, but if someone wants to do that, we would see them pop up and be poking around. And so I don't know if you are a Google or a Microsoft guy, Matt, but have you ever used Google Sheets and you're in with the people and you see it updating live?
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just like that.
Is there a limit of how many people you can have, or is it just unlimited?
It's unlimited. So as many seats as you have, everyone can be in there. So that's really handy because you don't want to be updating the estimate at the same time as someone else. It's hopefully unlikely that you're doing that, but you want to make sure that if you're working on it and someone else isn't messing with it at the same time. Cool. So we can see in here that we can set up our standard rates as well. We've got a rate library where you can pick from. It comes out with the cost. We can set individual markups for what our estimate's going to look like. And then we've also got the ability to add our own fees. It looks like Erica has just jumped in here. And so if Erica clicked on one of these cells, I would actually see her clicking around. And again, because we've got the delay, looks like we've got Aaron who's jumped in too. Aaron's jumped in, Erica's jumped in. So you can see that it's live, and if they were editing things, that would pop up. All right, so Matt, do you have any questions on how this estimating tool works before I jump into the bidding part?
I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's pulling in your quantities and everything else. I guess one question is, if you have, say you have a couple of revisions of drawing revisions, can you have different revisions in here where you can compare to?
Yeah, exactly. So we can have different versions of the estimates that you can always save. So you can snapshot it at a point, save a version, and then do a new one.
That's cool.
Yeah, and you can show it by we've got a lot of customers that like to break down their estimates by areas, by different buildings. And so you can set up your areas in there, and you can also break it down to see what it looks like by cost codes. So typically all of our tables are super flexible. You can choose what columns you see, how they get filtered. Yeah, it's really flexible.
That's cool.
All right. So I'm going to move on to the next part here, and that's the invitations to bid. So once we've got our estimate in there, what we found is that a lot of our GCs like to get bids back from subcontractors to help them generate their final bid. So we can go in here and create an invitation to bid. I can do it for, say, the plumbing scope, and put in all of the details, choose the plumbers that we want to send this out to. Make sure I get some in Texas, not in Melbourne. And then we would go and send the right scope of works out to them as well. So I don't actually have a plumbing scope in this one, but I would send it out. I'm just going to send them flooring. Okay. We can choose what we send to them, whether we just send them the drawings, whether we send them our takeoff if you wanted to do that to help out the trade. Send the drawings out and click issue ITB. What does that do? That goes and sends out an email to them. They have been invited to bid. And when they respond with their bids, we will use AI to automatically get an apples for apples comparison of what they have submitted. You might have a look at one that does have some submissions, electrical. So we can see in here that I got 2 bids back, one for 138, one for 124. Don't worry about the numbers too much on this. They don't really make sense. I think my total estimate was 100 grand and they've come back at this, but it's all just test data. But we can see in here that this was their quote that they submitted. the AI has automatically pulled the line items out of here. It's done a check on the inclusions and exclusions so we can be sure of what they've actually quoted for. And they didn't have to log in to do this. That's something that I want to mention, Matt. It's that the subcontractors, when they are interfacing with BuildPass, even on our build product, they don't have to log into things. It's not like where they have to remember a password and log into a new piece of software. They literally respond to an email or click on a link, and then they can engage with our platform. Now, they can log in. That's completely fine, but we want to make sure that's not a barrier to entry. Okay.
I know they've got enough logins. They've got to log into this and that and everything else to do their work. So not giving them another one that they're forced to definitely help.
Totally. That's how we think about it. So what we can see here is we can actually do a smart compare on these two. Because we've pulled the line items out and we've matched them into our own format, we can do an apples for apples comparison on how these quotes look, how they match up. And we have already awarded this to Crockett Electrical Services. Okay, once we've done that, we can apply those quotes to our estimate, and then we can ultimately go and build a proposal once we're ready to bid for the job. I've already built this one. It's a very simple one. You can add cover letters on to here, cover sheets, custom branding, anything that you want. You choose how the pricing goes through as well. And this will build a PDF document. You style it. It's just kind of like using Word essentially, but it preloads everything in for you with your branding. Then you can send that out to the client, and hopefully you win the job. All right, so that covers the bulk of the win product. From there, once you have won the job, we move the job into the awarded stage. You do that through this section here. I've already done that, so I don't need to do it. What happens as part of awarding the job? We will set up the prime contract. So all of the terms that dictate the prime contract will be in here. Anything that relates to retainage, anything that relates to your schedule of values, how you're going to get paid, how the pay applications work, will all get set up. So the schedule of values gets set up in here. We can see how we're going to get paid, the cost codes that relates to. Then that will flow through to our pay applications, and I'll show you later. We also set up the budget as part of this. So the budget will be mapped from our estimate directly through into a budget, essentially with one click, because we already had that mapping of our estimate scope items into the cost codes that we've set up. You can set up any cost code structure that you like. We have standard templates that we can provide. We can see in here that we've got a tool that looks very similar to hopefully what you've seen in other products, because it's quite straightforward. Whatever you budgeted for originally, official budget transfers, approved change orders, what your revised budget is, all of your commitments will then appear in here. We have got a fully AI-based bills module for your AP automation. So as bills come through to an email address, that will start going through an approval process. And you see your actuals appear here. And then ultimately we can do our forecasting for the job through here as well. So we can see that for flooring, here's the cost to date, it's done. Here's the remaining cost based on the budget and the commitments. And then we can add forecast items in there too. One of the things that we've done is if you're adding forecast items into here, when you go to raise a subcontract, we can convert those forecasted items into commitment items so that you're not double counting things. So you could always see them in the right spot. Okay.
Got a question.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah, no, so that makes sense. And like everything you've done so far, I see how it makes sense for a general contractor, right? Because you're going to get sub bids. But for even on the subcontractor side, you're still getting sub bids and you're doing all that. Do you have any subcontractors using this, or is it all GCs?
We do. We do have we typically market to GCs, but we have sold to subcontractors as well. It gets a bit interesting when it comes to things like pay applications, because you've got your upwards pay applications and then your downwards pay applications. And so we've had to be very careful about how we've built that module such that it works for both subs and for GCs. but it does work that way. Essentially, you can have inbound pay applications that come in. So if you're a GC, they come from the sub, and then you can generate them when you're going to the owner. So subs do use it. That being said, we typically sell to general contractors.
Gotcha. We got a couple questions here from the audience.
Let's do it.
Is there a workflow feature allowing approval process through different individuals? I guess like a staged approval process.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we go into our settings and we go into approvals here, each of our modules, you can set up a different approval chain. So for my bills module, I've set up an approval chain in here. And again, don't worry about the amounts, but it's saying that a contract administrator has to approve anything. Then project managers will have to approve everything over $200, and then senior management over $2,000. You can set up those to be whatever numbers you like. Then when things come in, like for example, if we go into the bills module and a bill comes in, we will see what stage it's in. So this one's in review. We can see in here that it's waiting for a approver. And all of your approvals will actually appear up here. I don't have any here at this stage, but this will actually be a Kanban board that shows you each role and where your approvals are sitting. So whether that's for a bill, whether that's for a pay application, it'll be a nice Kanban board that has all of those set up in there, and you can see
Cool.
exactly who's holding up the process on things and give them a nudge.
Is that approvals for, I mean, is it for like submittal approvals, payment approvals, like any of the modules that have some sort of approval flows?
Yeah. So for the win and pay products, we're just talking about the money in here. When it comes to things like submittals and RFIs and even timesheet approvals, we do that in the build section of the product. It's all integrated, but we keep it in its different sections.
It has a similar approval Kanban board and stuff?
Yep, exactly.
Sweet. Cool.
Cool. Was there more questions in the chat, or let me keep going?
Jacob had a question. What's a viewport look like for the field team?
Yeah, so we can set up roles in here, and this is going to be testing my limits of what I know. I don't usually do demos, but basically with your team members and access groups, you can set up what we call an access group. And when you're setting up that group, it will show you, okay, who's this type of person, and then what do we want them to be able to do. So I think this is literally the first time I've done this, but I know what it does. You can see what level of access that they have and permissions that they have to the various modules. So typically we'll find, say, field teams just getting access to maybe view the bills or approve certain bills. So they can see all of the correct information, but they might not have access to certain levels of financials, for example. One of the things that we are about to release that we don't do at the moment, but it's been probably the most common request that relates to that, is how can we get all of the field data pulled in to our financial data? And what I mean by that is, how can we do really accurate cash flow forecasting based on what's happening in the field? If a job gets delayed a little bit, what does that mean for our financials? Does it mean that we can't submit a pay application for the amount that we thought we could? Does it mean that we actually don't have to pay these subs and it changes our cash flow? Or maybe we don't want to actually approve a bill or a pay application from a sub if they've got outstanding punches or their COIs have expired. And so we are actually working on that link between the field schedule and the financials. That's going to be really powerful. So I guess to the question, we absolutely want the field to have more and more information about the financials of the job to the level that you allow them to. And going back the other way, the people sitting in the back office being able to really accurately see what's going out on site and have that all linked together.
So Jacob asked that question. He had a couple more. I'm just going to kind of paraphrase real quick.
Cool.
His thought was, how do we get buy-in from the foreman and the people in the field And I think, obviously what we're showing right now is a lot of office driven workflows, right? All the bidding, all the budgetary stuff, the pay applications, all that stuff's kind of the office side. And I'm hoping in a little while we're going to get to the more of the field features. And I guess when we get there, just kind of a little teaser, maybe kind of help show us what it looks like from the field's perspective as well. Because obviously right now you're showing us like the desktop version of all the budgets and all that sort of stuff. So just something to keep in mind
Yeah.
as we roll through.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll try and get to that soon. It's actually, like I said, it's where we specialize, and it's been the thing that we have done for a long time, the field operation. So I want to make sure I spend enough time there. Absolutely. And I'll show you that very soon.
And then one more
I'll,
quick question
yep.
on kind of the bidding stuff. Is there a CRM feature? Do you have anything for go, no goes, etc.?
Yeah, we are building a CRM into our Win product. At the moment, people use the schedule and the Kanban board in the schedule. So you can go put various tasks in here, assign them to people, move them, set up your go, no go for different tasks, and also just the projects themselves have a Kanban view. So there's a level of doing that, but we are building in a fully integrated CRM that will sync in with all of your emails, your calls, and all of that good stuff that you get in a CRM.
Since this is a hot seat, when is that going to be out?
Yeah, that'll be Q4.
Software never goes. It's almost worsting instruction on schedules, but I get
it. Yeah, it's funny. With agentic development now and the way we've set it up, we've actually been able to ramp the development speed of us responding to feedback, which is quite interesting. Typically with software companies, that slows down as you get more customers, things slow down and you're not able to respond quickly. Because of the way we've built this, that's actually speeding up. So often we'll get people submit something into feedback here. They can literally like grab a screenshot of the product. They can go and circle what they think is wrong or what should be improved, send that through, and then we have agents that go through, start triaging that, work out if it's a good thing to build, start building it. Still goes through human review and we decide, but sometimes we have customers who'll submit something and a few hours later it appears in the platform.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll try to get through the rest of the financials because I know they're a little bit boring, and just show you what it can do. So once we've set up our budgets and everything, we can do allowances for selections, bring clients into the platform. All of the bills get fully automated. So we can go in here, we can see that this bill that I've got is for some Ubiquity networking equipment. It will flag anything like, could the vendor get linked? Does it match a purchase order or a subcontract? Link to all the cost codes, and then go through that approval chain that we said before. So you don't have to have a plug-in to your accounting system. Speaking of accounting systems, we do integrate with a lot of them. So we don't replace an accounting system, but if you're on QuickBooks or Sage, we can integrate with them. From there, bills get approved, they update the budget. We haven't talked about the whole buyout process. We can manage that. So we went from estimates into budgets, but we didn't talk about actually buying it out. That's typically where you can make the most money. So we have a screen that shows you which scope items are bought out, which ones we're currently buying out. And once we do that, we can go and raise a subcontract directly in the platform. So I could go raise a subcontract in here, choose who the subcontractor is, create that, and then we have a fully built e-signature platform, so like the equivalent of DocuSign built in. Essentially fill in the scope of works and the inclusions, and then you go and generate that from your templates. I haven't pulled everything in that I need to here. For example, I need to select who the signatory is. But once I do that, I can go and generate it, pick by template. So literally this is like a PDF template of your own subcontract. You go and put it in just like you would in, say, DocuSign. We generate the contract, and then we can go and issue for in-app signature like this. I need a contract value on there and all of that. So you can manage all of that. We do purchase orders in the same way. And then finally, I'll talk about pay applications. You can go in here and submit a pay application that will get marked against the scheduler values. We're working on really cool ways of automating what we think the percentage should be based on the bills that are coming in and where the field schedule is actually at. They can handle lien waivers, the certification process, and then that all flows through into your accounting system as well. So it turns into an invoice, goes into your accounting system, and can get paid. Once those things do get paid, then we can they'll get marked as paid in our system as well. Okay, I think that probably covers enough on the pay product as well, because I know we want to spend a bunch of time on the build product, so I can move on to that if you want me to, unless there's anything else you want me to cover here.
No, I think it's good. I think the questions are related to that are addressed for now. So
Awesome. Okay, so once the project gets marked as one, it flows through into the build product. And so this is where we get everything that relates to the field. Now, we have obviously our desktop version, but this works on an iPad, it works on a phone, we have a mobile app. And I can actually just quickly show you, if I do this, you can see that it scales down really nicely onto the phone as well. You can even just use this through the web browser on your phone and it'll all work really nicely. Okay, so I'll just get rid of that. One sec, turn that off. All right, cool. So in here, this is where we have everything from our management of the field schedule to the drawings that are in here. We can manage our RFIs and submittals. I do want to talk through our phone calls module at some point, because I promised you that. The ability to load in all of your photos, forms, daily logs, anything that relates to safety. So for those that do run orientations on their sites, we can handle all of them. I'll show you how easy it is for people in the field to get onto a site. So if you wanted to get sign-ons for everyone or check-ins for every field worker that comes onto your site, you can do that simply with a QR code. They don't need an app. We can walk through that if anyone wants to see it. But where I might start is probably in the scheduling tool. So your schedule, you can run multiple different schedules in here. If we go and start a new schedule, we have a couple of options. We can either manually build up our schedule, or we've got this option that we call Go Fast. And Go Fast is where you can use AI to not only just copy it in from other places, but you can actually describe what the project is. Now, this is not going to be good for a super complex project, but if you're doing a pretty standard project, like a typical residential home build, you can go and describe that in there, and it will actually build out a schedule for you based on what your schedules in the past have looked like and what your templates are and best practice. We can also upload from any format. So you could get a screenshot or an export of a Microsoft project schedule, Smartsheet, P6, whatever you're using, and upload it in here, and it will build it out automatically for you. It takes a few minutes, and we're conscious of time, so I won't do that now, and I'll just jump into the schedule that we've already got. All right, let's have a look at, say, this one in here. So the idea is that, and I'm just going to go up here. All right. So the idea is that this is super easy to use without any training. So in here, we can see that everything is fully interactive. If I go and edit the schedule like this, it's all drag and drop. So I can just drag tasks around. I can redo the dependencies if I need to. So let's just say that we didn't want this dependency on there, and then we wanted it back. It's very easy to just drag and drop and create the dependencies, set things like your lag. So we can see in here that we could go and set a lag of 4 days, for example. And so then when these things move out, everything would move along with it. You can customize how this looks. So we could say that we do want to see things like our dependencies in this view, or in the table view. We can define how we see that as well. So the idea here is to have a really simple version that people out in the field can use for look-ahead schedules, or even the whole construction program. And it doesn't require training like using project or P6 would. The other thing that it does is it's fully integrated with the field. So you can go and assign these tasks to companies or even down to individual workers or site admins on what they have to do. And if I assign this to, say, Apex Mechanical, and then I hit save, it's going to choose to say, would you like to notify them with, say, an SMS message? They've been assigned to this task or this group of tasks. That's good to do because they can click, yep, I'm going to be there that date. And then if there's any changes, you can say, okay, for the next people who are due to start in the next 3 weeks, if their start date has been delayed as a result of some change on site, go and send them a text message and get them to reconfirm that they can come at that new start date. So there's no, off the back of someone getting delayed, you're not going and calling 10 trades trying to redo start dates. You can just automatically hit publish and then it sends them a text message on your behalf. All right.
All that confirmation, you can track all that in here and make sure. So if you do need to call somebody, say, hey, like, you still good to go because they didn't confirm? Like, you can track all your confirmations and everything?
Exactly. So you can see this confirmed up here. What this is saying is we sent out a message and they haven't confirmed it yet. So you'll see for the task coming up whether or not they have confirmed that.
That's cool.
Yeah, so the scheduling tool, super easy to use, super functional. We can do a bunch of things in here, like I'll just show you one more thing and go to edit. We can go and set up subtasks and what we call requirements as well. So if you have a hold point that you want to do a QA inspection in here, you can actually go and link that to a form that we have set, like this final inspection checklist, and therefore this task will not be able to be completed until that QA inspection is done. So we can't actually move on to the next task until they've completed that form. And in that form, that's where you can set out what needs to happen. So I'll go and show you the forms module now because this is where things happen. A lot of stuff happens out in the field. So inside of my form.
A quick question on the schedule. Can you export the schedule to a PDF that you can send to an owner or somebody external?
Yep, absolutely. You can choose what the branding is, columns that are included, date periods, all of that. Cool. Okay, so just with the forms. So often with field tools that you have to get like the customer success team to set up your forms and do things. We've got a team that does that, but we have a really easy way of setting up these templates. So that inspection template that I showed you before, I have a lot of them. I'll just pick anyone and hope that it's got some stuff in it. We have got a form builder that's fully drag and drop. And so we can say that this is what our form should look like. This is a site safety review. Here's all of the hazards, for example. And this is the modules that should be in there. You can set up exactly what this looks like. And it's really easy to build up our forms in there. Actually going and completing that out on the phone is also super easy. So if I was in here, I wanted to start my daily safety inspection, maybe I'm on the phone, so I'll just do that again. We can click start. So we can go put things in like hazards, take photos, raise action items. At every stage, we try and use AI. So if I say that there is uneven ground and therefore there's an action item for someone to fix that, if we go in here, if I had the AI turned on, it would actually fill in the AI for me, the action for me. So we'll go in here and fill it in and say, this is what the action should be. So that's the forms module. It's connected to the scheduling. And this is where you do anything that relates to quality, daily safety inspections, QA, hold points. We can do a lot of things in there.
That's cool.
All right. So I want to show you the drawings module as well. So the whole idea with the drawings module is to manage the changes of a drawing and get them to the people in the field. Before I do that, I want to quickly show you how easy it is for field workers to get access to the software. Like I mentioned, we are not requiring people to download an app and get in and their passwords. And so typically we find with other project management platforms, it might just be a couple of the trades that bother to get in and get themselves set up on the app, and maybe it's only the foreman. But with BuildPass, you can literally scan a QR code on site. When they scan that QR code, that will look like this. All right, so they scan the QR code and then they get taken to the job and they say what they're doing. So they might say that I'm just a worker on site. From there, you can either use the app or they can do it in the browser. It will then ask them for their phone number. I'm already authenticated, so I've done this. We check who they are. You can set up things like, okay, they should do an orientation for the day. As they're signing on, they might see notices that you've put out. There's changed site conditions. You can set them up. They would confirm all of them, and then they sign on for the day. You have tracking that they're there. Excuse my silly photo. And then they can access the modules you give them access to. So you might say that they only have access to the drawings, for example. They can go in here and they can see that any of the drawings that you've given them access to. Obviously, we haven't set up any that the workers have access to. Now, we could change that by, if I go into the drawings module, I'll show you how that works. So inside of here, I've got floor plans, I've got elevations. The floor plans in here, they're on revision D, and we can see them in here. Got some random markups. We've got a markup tool that you can use, and the elevations are in here. What we've noticed is it's really hard to manage the changes in drawings and get them to the right people off the back of RFIs and changes from the engineer or the architect. So what we've done is a very simple way of dragging and dropping a whole new set of drawings. So I could go in here and I'm going to put revision E of the same set of drawings. And this could be multiple drawing sets. It could be a single drawing set with hundreds of pages. I'm just doing it on the small one in here. This is our Melbourne office fit out. And you can see that there's a version update. All of them have been bumped to revision E. It pulls the title, the number, and the revision from the drawing sets themselves. So it's not like relying on file names or anything. It pulls it out from the drawing. And once we load this in, what we'll see is it is going to use AI to do any comparisons and flag any updates for us that will show visually too. So once these have been uploaded, we can see it's uploaded 2 of 3. Here's the changes. We can choose who should get notified of those changes. So we can say all of the current people on the schedule should get notified, or just certain trades. Then the AI is going to give you a change summary, and it's going to show you what's changed. So we can see in here that we added 2 quiet rooms, a meeting room, and a kitchen island. You can also see that side by side if you wanted to, so you can see the differences between here and here. We would update that. Doesn't just work for floor plans, it can work for elevations too. This is the change to the quiet rooms. That looks good. And we can see the same over here. So we can update all of them. And as soon as we've done that, those have changed. We go into here. We see that this is on revision E. We open it up like that. The markups can transfer through if you want them to. And we'll see all of our version history over here. At any point in time, we can compare 2 versions. Click compare, and you get that same view, just like that. Now,
cool.
It's not just 2D drawings. We've recently added the ability to support both CAD and BIM models. So we had a look at, say, this CAD drawing over here. You've got all of the tools that you typically would need to view a CAD drawing. So we'll wait for this to render. All right, so you can see in here, if I just pan around and zoom in, we've got the basic tools that you would need to kind of see where you want to look. Oops, I zoomed right in. So go like this, zoom in, we can do measuring between certain points. And so it's like, it's not AutoCAD or Autodesk, but it is the ability to go in and view these things, and for people in the field to be able to go and view CAD files and BIM models. Like, let's just choose one of these. view the BIM models as well out in the field with a really easy to use viewer. And, you can do the standard things that you would want to do. Like you can go and click on particular layers and sections, see the details of what's in there. You've got some basic tools like the ability to do a section. So we could go and see in here through the model, sort of go in there. You can do walkthroughs as you need to. So yeah, the ability to go through and view stuff is really cool. And what I like is in here, if we could, maybe we really care about this vodka looking bottle here. We could go and get a screenshot just like that. We could then go mark that up. And then I could hit save like that. And from that, we can then go do things and like raise an RFI as well. So yeah, there's a lot of different capabilities inside of the drawings module. I do appreciate we're running out of time. The one thing that I did want to share with you, Matt, was our new app called SuperSite. So one of the things that we have noticed in spending a lot of time doing this over the last 5 years is that field adoption is really, really important. And what typically becomes a barrier is the guys in the field are so busy, they're doing things, meetings here, people calling them, that it all gets lost in the source and people revert to just doing voice notes on their phone and writing in Apple Notes and taking photos and then putting it all back into here. So what we built was we built this app called SuperSite. And I've got my phone here. Let's hope it's actually working. It is. Cool. Can you see that, Matt?
Yep, it's up there.
Great. So this here is SuperSite. And so I'm going to open the app. And what you can see, it's this very simple app that manages our tasks. It also manages things like our photos and our phone calls as well. So we can summarize the phone calls that we're making, both inbound and outbound. If I go into one that actually has something, lots of calls from Spectrum, a delivery organization. So this person was trying to organize delivery. Next steps was wait for them to call back. And there was actually a task in here that was generated from that. So we've got the ability to track phone calls, but also the ability to do meetings. So what I could have done, Matt, if we were having this meeting in person out on site, I could have gone in here and clicked take notes. And then this will show the agenda, but also this is then going to track what we're talking about. You get a transcript and it's going to summarize it with all of the action items. So when I complete it, obviously this one is not going to come up with anything too useful because it was only 10 seconds, but it will show a summary of the of what happened. And then we can go and sync that through to BuildPass here. So that goes back into our meetings module. Similarly, if we're out on site and we just want to do a quick voice note, I would go in here and go voice note. And I'd say, like, remind me to call back the plumber. I missed their call and I really need to get them booked in for tomorrow. We would do that and the voice note would summarize and show me that I need to call back the plumber. It gives me a task to do that in here. And then that appears on my task list. So I'm going to go mark that as done because I've done that. And all of the things that we're doing in here then integrate back into BuildPass. We can integrate our meetings back in, even our site walkthroughs. So
Is there a to-do list in actual BuildPass where all that'll push back into a kind of a pulling your to-dos from everywhere?
Yeah, we call it action items inside of the BuildPass platform. But yeah, exactly. So it can sync back through, and you can choose what syncs back through versus not. Probably my favorite one to do is we've called it Super Snap. And so this is the ability, and I'm just going to put my phone there. It's a bit meta as we're looking into multiple screens, but I can snap a photo just like that. And then I can maybe get one of my hard hat over here and say that this is my hard hat. And then this is my microphone. All right. And so I'm out on site, you can imagine, and I am taking photos. I'm talking to the phone. I just click done. And what it does is it saves all of the photos for me. It doesn't have to get saved to my phone and take up iCloud storage and but there's photos of my family and then there's photos of bricks. We don't want that. So I get a summary of exactly what we're talking about. So it said, this is the workspace equipment, this is the documentation context, and all of that, again, can get synced back into BuildPass. I can add that to a project like this project in here and send that over to BuildPass. That sends the photos, it sends the report, and then I can even just go and immediately send this out to someone. So the reason I walk you through all of that
Real
is
quick,
because
back there, it said you could send to a daily report. So could you be on the job site and basically doing your daily report via audio and photos, where you're walking around and be like, hey, well, the plumbers just finished this over here, the framers are working over here, and just taking photos as you're talking to it?
exactly. And so anything that you need to do out in the field, you can imagine, you can actually just do through this, because it uses AI to build the reports for you. So as you're talking about what you're doing, you might be doing a punch walk. And so, and we're talking about the, just a normal punch list, and it will generate that for you. And so it uses AI. And so what we've done is we've switched from going, okay, I need to remember to go into this module and then to do this certain thing, to I just point and shoot, I capture my voice, I call someone, I do the photo capture, and then it does the reporting for me and it puts it into the right spot. And one of the probably the biggest things, and I was going to do a live call. If anyone's game enough, feel free to put your mobile number into the chat and we'll bring it up. You obviously don't have to do that, and I can try and call you from here right now. So if we've got anyone online, so we could try and do that. But it will do.
Amy said
What's
Kirk
that,
is ready. Amy left a comment, said Kirk is ready.
Oh, cool. I could call Kirk. Let's do that. All right. Let's go. Pays Kirk. Okay, so I'm going to call him from my work number here, and we'll see how this goes.
Now everyone's got his phone number, so.
He probably wants. He's in sales. He probably wants you to call him. Matt Perrott from BuildPass. Looks like he's got it on Do Not Disturb. Hey, Kirk, it's Matt from BuildPass. We're live on the Construction Yeti webinar.
Hey, Matt, how's it going?
Yeah, good. Kirk, let's just say that I need you to come by this Friday to do all of the flooring for me on the job site. Can you lock that in?
You've got it. Friday. What time should I be there for the flooring?
Maybe first thing. Let's go 7 a.m.
Sounds good. I'll see you at 7 a.m.
Cool. I'll send through all of the drawings. I'll remind myself to send through all of the drawings and things that you need to get it done.
All right. That sounds good. I'll see you there 7 a.m. on the dot.
Cool. Thanks, Kirk.
No problem.
Okay, so I've just called Kirk. We've talked about the fact that immediately we get a summary of the phone